Silent Hill F has been out for a couple of days with early access now, and the reception the game has received has been fantastic. I played through the game and got the normal ending, and posted a video of that going deeper into the story from start to finish. If you haven't already checked it out, go and do so, it's on screen right now. But Silent Hill F isn't that simple. There isn't just one singular ending that will tell you everything that you need to know, or all of the perspectives that are possible in this game, because that isn't what Silent Hill does. Silent Hill F is a game with multiple endings. It has a true ending, a bad ending, a good ending, the normal ending, and of course, the secret ending. Today we are covering all of them, explaining each one of them in as much detail as possible, and what that means for future lore. But this video wouldn't be the same without you guys commenting your thoughts and opinions down below. If you agree, disagree, or think differently to anything that we go over in this video, leave it down below and let's open the discussion down there too. Now before we go into this, I want to give a huge shout out to GamerPrey on YouTube for allowing me to use the footage from his video. Without this footage, we wouldn't be able to see the endings of this game and go into a deep analysis of them. So a huge thank you to you, my friend. Please go and check out his channel and the original video. Both of the links will be in the top of the description, along with the top comment of this video. Go and drop a sub and let him know that Wizzo sent you. However, these videos are not quick nor easy are they to make, so leaving a like down below would be a fantastic way to show your support. And of course, why not go ahead and hype the video? It's a new feature on YouTube that they've implemented recently, and it's on the same row as the like button. It allows smaller channels and creators to be hyped, helping them to be noticed by those larger audiences. So if you could help me out there, I'll help you guys out too. But if this video reaches 500 likes, I'll do another giveaway for another couple of copies of this game to a couple of people down below in the comments on any platform of your choosing. So make sure you stick around at the end to find out how to do that. But this has been a long intro and I appreciate that. But check the timestamps down below to skip to a certain ending you want, or stay the whole way to fully listen to the explanation. The timestamps are very important parts of this video, so make sure you pay close attention to them. There's going to be a lot of explaining going on in this video, linking parts of the story together and showing you guys why essentially the endings are the way that they are. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's explain the endings of Silent Hill F. Before we delve straight into the endings for each scenario, we need to take a couple of things into account from the story that lead up to the different endings and paint the picture a little better, because this story as a whole was quite a confusing one to wrap your head around when playing through the first time. If there's anything you feel I've missed within this video or that's slightly incorrect, then please do correct me down below in the comments. But of course, be nice. All of it starts right here on this bench. Shu, your best friend, your partner, hands Hinako a box. Inside this box were a bunch of small red pills. These pills were given to Hinako by Shu very regularly, and we can see this from a note that's found in the game. The note would say that she would suffer from severe headaches, that the headaches that she would get are mostly down to the poor relationship with her father. First, over-the-counter medicine was recommended, but Hinako started taking them over and more often than usual. Shu didn't like his partner relying on these drugs, so she was switched to using traditional Chinese medicines that uses kudzu root and peony. However, Shu would not only give her medicine to help, he would also continuously be there for her, ending most sentences together with "I'll always be there for you." Partner in Japanese terminology could mean multiple things. The general love or romance side of things is also a possibility, but what I think he's referring to when calling and referring to Hinako as this partner is that it's a loyal companion or ally. Nothing romantic on the surface, but deeper down I think it probably is. We can also clearly see throughout the story that Shu has an attachment to Hinako. Even when he and Rinko are together, you can clearly see that his interest is just not there.
Even if no one else is left in this world, it's good to know you're still around.
Wait, what about Rinko?
She just said she needed to talk to me about something.
Rinko was supposed to be with you. How do we know if she's all right?
Sorry.
The one comment that got me was when Hinako asked if Rinko was okay, worried about her whereabouts, and Shu didn't seem fazed one bit, because deep down he knew who his love was. Now looking at another perspective, and diving deeper into another point, her father specifically was abusive, mentally and physically, to her mother and her mother would always side with her father, even in those times. This led Hinako to resent her father, even going as far as speaking back to him, which in that culture was a huge no-no at the time, with the comment made a lot of the time, "Why can't you be more like your sister, Junko?" Ultimately, Hinako did not want to be like her mother, have an abusive relationship and not be able to do anything about it, almost feel trapped, and this was a big driving force in her decisions throughout this game. Now, in 1960s Japan, just when this game was based, arranged marriages between families was very much still a thing. It was known as the, now forgive me if I butcher this, the Omaya Kekon. And although we don't see this directly in the story, I think the writers are pointing towards this being one of the main driving forces. Towards the end of the game, we see Hinako have a flashback in a playground, and a boy is lay on the ground who was attacked by a dog. This boy's name is Kotayuki. Kotayuki also special because this is actually the man that Hinako sees in her dreamlike world, the man that's always there for her in her mind, the man that cares for her, wants the best for her, fights away evil for her. Now, Kotayuki is the main character throughout this dreamlike world, one that Hinako grows to love. This is the man that Hinako's arranged marriage is with. Now, to summarize what I've just gone over. The easiest way to look at this game is by breaking down two perspectives. The dreamlike world, we'll refer to it as in this video, is a Shinto marriage ceremony between Hinako and Kotayuki. Each time you are in this world, you are one step closer to marrying Kotayuki, each time completing a ritual, and in the reality side of things is Hinako before she was married, before it all became a thing, which is why she was in this dream world as herself at the end, because she was there, it was happening. Both of her consciences, let's say consciences, were there at that time, battling against each other. Should she marry? Should she not? Hinako was placed into an arranged marriage. This would be a Shinto wedding ceremony, and the rituals they carry out are symbolic of that. She was confused yet anxious about this, because it means once you're married, she will no longer have her own personal identity as such. We could see this when both Shu and Hinako were sat on the bench together. Shu's comment, "No matter the choice, I'll always be there for you," hints that the town and her friends already know what's coming, and that Shu ultimately is still coming to grips with it. We can even go as far as a conversation Rinko and Shu were having together when Hinako overheard, saying Hinako is dead, living a better life in another world.
Cut it out. I don't want to talk about that right now.
I'm not gonna cut it out. I'm gonna keep bringing it up until you snap back to reality.
I said, knock it off. Seriously.
Look, I'll just come right out and say it. Hinako's dead, okay? She's gone. She's living a better life in another world.
Now for me, obviously she is not dead, but I interpret this to be that Hinako at the moment in her current reality is so unhappy within her family life and generally. She's depressed, she hates her mother, she hates her father. She's now in this arranged marriage. She's now in another world, living a better life with Kotayuki. And Shu, he doesn't want to talk about it because he thinks he loves Hinako and wishes that that was him. Throughout the game, however, Hinako is running from a version of herself that is trying to get rid of her past self. In this dream-like world, she is seen leaving her friends behind and letting them die, sometimes even doing this herself. This is a point made by the Foxman, Kotayuki, just after she let Shu die. This to me symbolizes her moving on and cutting ties from anyone in her past, mainly her three friends, because this version of her is already given into the arranged marriage, and this shows with her slowly following the command of the Foxman. When Hinako would awake in real world, this is where Hinako will live all of her past traumas that she's had, everything that happened throughout her friendships that she had in school with her so-called friends, and even all of the happiness that she once had too, which makes the real world Hinako question if what she's going through is really what she wants. Throughout the story, Hinako would come across dolls, one she was familiar with from the start of the game, mostly when she was a child, but mostly warning her. This was her real world self, warning her of the concerns that she had, almost reminding her we would mostly see these concerns in the dream-like world when a ritual had taken place, or when she was walking to the altar. It's however really important to go back to the point that we made earlier in the video about arranged marriages and Kotayuki. Throughout the game, a series of rituals were carried out, some not so much in your face, but others were more discreet than others. For example, the slicing the arm off was just insane, but little things that you may not have noticed throughout were actually involved in a overall Japanese wedding rituals. So we're going to go through those and just to paint the picture of what we were seeing throughout this story and what rituals were done when we may not have actually noticed. So at the very beginning of her journey, the masked man guides Hinako to a shrine of some sort. Here he gives her a dagger known as a kaiken. Japanese wedding tradition can involve a dagger named a kaiken, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is hidden in the bride's kimono. This practice is a holdover from historical customs where the dagger was a symbol of protection, mature womanhood, and the bride's resolve to protect her chastity and her family. The kaiken is a smaller version of a guardian katana and is not a functional weapon, but rather a decorative accessory. The second would be the priest would typically then conduct a purification ritual for the couple and guests to cleanse impurities, and we can see here that the priest doing these purification rituals is Sakuko. Her family owned a shrine in which she one day wished that she could be the head priest of, and we earlier found this out in a note when we were walking through the town. So when we fight her in this dreamlike world, this is the evil or the impurity that needs to be cleansed. So this is what they do straight after, in which Hinako reacts terribly to. The priest then recites prayers and reports the couple's intentions to marry to the gods, Kami, seeking their approval and blessing. This is at the point where Rinko attacked Hinako. The couple present sacred evergreen branches at the altar to receive blessings for their marriage, which we can see them doing right here. There was a section where Kotayuki and Hinako were sharing a drink together. This is known as a Japanese wedding ritual named the Sansankudu. The bride and groom will take 3 sips each from 3 different cups, symbolizing their bond and the joining of their families. The wedding rings will then be exchanged between the two. The bride will typically wear something named a Suno Kakushi, which will symbolize her suppressing her negative emotions like jealousy towards her new family. It serves a similar purpose of concealing or transforming part of the wearer's appearance to represent a symbolic change in her status and role as a married woman. They then both would walk down the aisle. The marking ritual is, in my view, a symbol that Hinako is now going to be marked as a married woman, giving her a new identity, a new stamp. And of course, her taking her arm is a common phrase used for taking your hand in marriage. In this case, it was an arm, which was pretty gruesome. The mask is worn because the wedding itself is known as a fox wedding. This is a folk belief where a sun shower, which is basically where it rains when the sun is shining, is said to occur because the foxes are holding their wedding ceremony. This phenomenon, which sometimes appears as floating lights in the dark, is referred to as a Japanese folklore as a supernatural event, or a natural event with supernatural origins. There's also a really interesting part of the story where Hinako makes her way to her family home and greets her parents. And it's there that her mother is very happy to see her, dressed up, ready to marry, but her father had other comments. "This isn't your home anymore" is a term used by families to their daughters who are being married off, essentially trying to encourage them to make their marriages work and not come back. So now we've covered all of that, we know for a fact that there was meant to be some form of arranged marriage during this game, and this rather happened just before, and this was the events leading up to that marriage. a lot of the rituals done were symbolic of a traditional Japanese ceremony in which it was carried out throughout the game. Make sure you guys keep this in mind when we come to explain those endings. So first of all, we're going to start off by going through the ending that I got in my playthrough of the game, the one that we watched yesterday, the video they uploaded, and this is known as the normal ending, and it leaves a lot open to interpretation. So in my ending of the game, the ending scene, Hinako from the real world awakes in the same dream world as this other version of herself. This is the wedding day, if you will, the day that she leaves her family home and becomes a woman. She walks into the altar very drugged up to see her sister Junko at the shrine, asking her, "How could you be on her side? And you don't understand how I feel." This refers to Hinako taking these red pills so often to get her through the anxiety, the pain of going through with this arranged marriage. We've seen so often throughout that Hinako looks lifeless, emotionless, and that's because of these red pills. She's taking them to get her through, but when it wears off, she becomes anxious, she panics, and here we can see she wants to go home. Junko, her sister, throughout the whole game, has been telling Hinako to choose what side she's on. She could see she was drugged up. She was trying to do what a sister would, look out for Hinako, but she was painted like the bad person throughout this game. But that was down to Hinako's interpretation, the more real version of her, if you will. But Hinako was too drugged up to listen, and she takes more red pills there and then, and casts Junko aside. And there is where she takes one look at the altar and smashes it to pieces. "This is what caused all of this," she says. And as she turns around, there she was, standing there, Hinako in her wedding dress. She got the better of this version of herself, and it was here that she would hear voices from people at her wedding, asking what the hell is she doing? And is she insane?
What the hell are you doing? Hey, are you insane?
Shut up! Out of my way!
This being for smashing up the altar and running out of the church or wherever they might be, which is what this symbolizes. Even the voice of the masked man, "Everyone, just hold on. Hinako, why are you doing this?" He showed he cared, that he was there for her when she needed it. Hinako ran out of the church doors into a sea of red sirens, thinking that all of the guests at her wedding were these monsters that she could see in her head, so she slaughtered them all in front of her, which is why the police were outside.
Unikawa 2 to HQ. We've got 2 male victims here. Same female suspect as in the wedding massacre on Route 8. One victim is currently in cardiac arrest.
Kagerocho 1 to HQ. We haven't found the knife used by the suspect at the scene. Chances are good that it's still in the suspect's possession. Better consider her armed. Over.
Attention all apartments. This is HQ. Female suspect is in her 20s and wearing a wedding dress. Height is a little over 160 centimeters. Last seen fleeing Tsuneyoshi Shrine. Believed to be armed and highly dangerous. Exercise extreme caution.
Come in, HQ. This is Kagerocho 1. It appears the suspect was observed consuming red and white capsules at the scene of the crime.
Kagerocho 1, this is HQ. Did the capsules match the ones discovered at the wedding venue? Over.
HQ, this is Kagerocho 1. Affirmative. Collected capsules of the suspect dropped.
But now let's move on to the bad ending. This ending starts in the same way. Hinako walking into the altar, Junko standing there asking her, "Hinako, are you Hinako?" She is greeted by Junko, "Unbelievable, it's time you accept your fate." Hinako refuses to accept that fate. The more she clings to life, the longer she clings to her past, the more Hinako suffers. Shimizu Hinako no longer exists, referring to her taking the last name of her husband and starting a new life, a new identity with him. The doll, however, appeared again and removed Junko from the room, the doll being this version of Hinako's past clinging on, keeping her relevant, telling her to not go through with it. It got the better of her, and she destroyed the altar, saying she will bring back Shimizu Hinako. Hinako turned around and walks forward, but she starts having a splitting headache, and there she sees the other version of herself, saying, "You took everything from me." However, this, let's call the married version of Hinako, says, well, it's not like you can't see them anymore. They can still visit. You can still visit. But she doesn't want to listen. This, of course, is referring to her friends, her family. When she's married, it doesn't mean that she's never ever going to see anyone ever again. She can still visit her friends and family. But judging by the way that her father treated her mother, how isolated she was, that was never an option that she considered. But she doesn't even listen, and she wants herself back. Everything she's feeling right now, she's ready to face it. Both charge at each other. Hinako, the married version, starts acting demonic, starts to walk over towards her, almost like she's possessed. Kotayuki gives her an elixir to drink, and here we hear him say, "Incredible. You were possessed by something so foul and resisted for so long." Kotayuki extinguished the possessed spirit, but in the background was Shu. He runs in and smacks Kotayuki to the ground, and tried to follow up with another smack. But here, it all comes out.
Why are you protecting him? I swore that I'd keep you safe. Don't you trust me? It's always been the two of us!
I wanted for us to be together. Like we always were. We can't. Don't you see that? Things won't always stay the same for us.
You don't think I know that? But why do you trust this nobody? Why him?
Shu. You always say you want things to stay as they are. But Kotayuki... he says he wants to build a future together with me. Both ideas scare me. But both of them fill me with hope. If only I could split myself in two. If there were two of me, then one could stay. She could stay here with you and keep being your partner. Shu!
I shall pursue him. I cannot allow this to pass.
No. I'll go and talk to him myself.
Shu wants things to stay as they are, and Kotayuki wants to build a future. Shu didn't make his feelings known. Ironically, Hinako says, "If only I could split myself in two. One version could stay and keep being Shu's partner, the other could move on and be with Kotayuki." He drops his bat and runs off, with Kotayuki awakening, saying he will pursue him. not allowing this to pass. Hinako, however, runs after Shu. Here, he owns up.
I gave you those capsules.
What about them?
They help you reflect within yourself. But they can be extremely dangerous, too.
Why would you give me something like
I
that?
didn't want you to get married! I care about you so much. I wanted you to see it. What the hell is wrong with me? How could I not be happy for my partner? I'm such a piece of trash!
Now, she of course knew this. He literally handed her a box full of them at the beginning of the game. But what she didn't know was the extent of what they were capable of. But then, something starts to happen.
I can never hate you. He's my partner. We've been together ever since I can remember. How could I hate him? You're trying to ruin today. To ruin everything that we've had together.
This beast that Shu turns into is depicting everything that he's feeling. It represents passion, energy and aggression in Japanese culture, representing the embodiment of greed, anger and powerful emotions, and it's often with a fiery or demon-like appearance, with Shu's face in the center of it, fighting against his demons, fighting against Hinako. Hinako defeats this beast, leaving Shu standing. However, before he could do anything, in walks Kotayuki. They both confront each other, both treating Hinako like some form of object. They argue over her, with Kotayuki offering a hand in becoming friends. But Shu initially declined, until they put their fists together, and there it is. The Fox wedding, where a sun shower occurs, a good omen for their wedding. We pan to seeing all three of them standing, all three panned together. Kotayuki removes his mask, but that wasn't it over.
A good omen for a wedding. Let's go inside. It is cold out.
All right. No. I'm scared. I'm so scared. Please.
Her panic starts to set back in. She doesn't want to end up like her mother.
Be like my mother. I don't want to become my mother.
So that is ending number 2, the bad ending. But now, let's get on to the good ending. This ending again starts in the same way. Hinako walking into the altar. Junko is at the altar. Even now, Hinako still can't accept the inevitable. She wants to fight for her life. She has the right to exist. She doesn't want to be married off and lose herself, lose her identity, but Junko reminds her it's far too late for that. However, she freezes in place. Hinako knows that she's wrong. It's not too late. With that doll, that version of herself clinging on, she is not ready. She walks up to the altar and smashes it to pieces. However, when she turns around, she sees the married version of herself. She thought she killed her, the version that was against the marriage. She wants to go back to being Shimizu Hinako, not her new married name. She wants her old life back. She doesn't want marriage. She beat that version of herself, only to be stopped by Kotayuki. Hinako asks, "Who are you?" In which he replies, "I could ask the same of you." Hinako would never act this way. How have you entered this sacred ground? With the doll appearing in the corner. And then, in comes Shu. He beats Kotayuki, however, the Foxman takes his true form. This is nothing more than a man that fell in love. He wanted nothing more than her happiness, and he will make her his wife.
Just what the hell are you?
I am nothing more than a man who fell in love. Ever since, I've wanted nothing more than your hand and your happiness. Hinako! I shall make you my wife yet. Out of love and respect for you, I force myself to abide by the rules of human courtship. But if by honoring your traditions, I risk losing you, then I'm afraid we'll have to do things my way from now on. Abandon your world. Let the memory of your presence there fade away. In time, the missing posters will crumble to dust, to be carried off by the wind. They will forget your face, and they will remember you as nothing more than this. The hapless girl who was spirited away by a fox. My love, you stayed with me until the end. Thank you.
In spite of everything, I won't forget your kindness. So thank you for everything.
Hinako! Over here! Hurry!
To me, this is nothing but a metaphor for Hinako choosing Shu over Kotayuki. A broken man did everything he could right. He brought happiness to Hinako's life. He was there for her in any way he could. And I would even go as far as to say he loved her. He will stay here, settle matters, tell everyone that the wedding is off. And Shu and Hinako, well, they can leave together.
I remember playing Space Wars with you back in the day. And that means you're one of us then, our comrade in arms.
I suggest you leave. I am still a monster after all, and won't hesitate to consume you if given the chance.
See you later, comrade.
The term monster, however, although it looks physical here, can genuinely be a term used for taking Hinako away from him. Kotayuki did all he could. He did right by her, must hold his head high. The two of them sprint out of the church and away together. Shu had saved her, allowed Shimizu Hinako to live on.
Are you alright?
Thank you, Shu. If you hadn't come to help, I wouldn't have been brave enough to go on.
That's not it. That's the opposite of why I decided to help you. I helped because you showed so much courage.
me too long to find that courage, though. I caused everyone so much trouble.
I don't know. I think it's crazy that you felt that the only way to do that was to give up on your life.
Thank you, partner. You look really weird in a tie.
Yeah, well, you look really weird in that.
Geysers have begun to reach approximately 50 meters in height, and over the past 3 weeks have shown no signs of letting up. Water temperatures and concentration levels of the accompanying hydrogen sulfide gas continue to increase dramatically, and the foul has spread to even this location. All residents of Evisagalica have been ordered to evacuate. Earlier we spoke with...
Now, I'll be honest guys, I don't really know what the ending part of this particular ending means, so if anybody has any suggestions, please do leave that in the comments down below. Now, that's another ending out the way, the bad ending. But let's get on to the true canon ending. This ending again starts in the same way, Hinako walking into the altar. She said that someone is toying with all of them, her specifically. One of them wants to marry her off, the other wants to stop the wedding in its entirety. Everyone is always pressuring, rushing, forcing them, but these are battles they both must fight. Junko turns to her right and silence. She apologizes to her sister, her mum, her dad. She says she's been a terrible daughter, but if you truly want nothing more than for her to be happy, then please let her do this. Hinako walks up to the altar, Junko watching from behind, and she smashes it to pieces. However, behind her is herself, the version of her that's marrying Kotayuki. Why must we fight to the death just for one of us to survive this nightmare? However, something happens. The both of them come together forcibly and start to strangle each other.
For eons, all this rage and spite festered within me, and to this day smolder yet.
You insignificant wretch. Such rubbish means nothing to me.
Hinako, what is this?
However, Kotayuki separates the two of them. As she falls to the ground, he becomes possessed by something.
Kotayuki! Kotayuki!
Once in a blue moon, humankind produces an extraordinary girl
who is blessed with divine power.
Upon her birth, a spell is placed on our clan's successor that stirs within him a desperate desire to go and seek out that extraordinary girl and make her his wife.
What are you?
In the past, we relied on our cunning, seducing our brides with clever deceits. But this generation's heir is a fool.
Failing to charm his bride-to-be demonstrates what an inexperienced failure he is.
Kotayuki, no. He just... all he wanted was for us to get married and be happy together. He tried so hard. He was alone all that time. You will never understand! You monster!
Hinako defeats the fox. However, it turns into this. This beast will depict everything the Hinako in the real world was feeling. It represents passion, energy, aggression in Japanese culture, representing the embodiment of greed, anger, and powerful emotions, often with a fiery or demon-like appearance. This was her fighting back against the version of herself that wants to get married to Kotayuki, as this is her fighting her own demons. And when defeated, all that is left, the only memory she has of her previous life, is the doll that she cherished so dearly as a child. However, both versions of Hinako are rushed into another room by Kotayuki. Here he says he's deeply sorry. He's had much to drink for his first wedding in many moons, referring possibly to maybe his father or someone close to the wedding that was angry at the fact that Hinako may have destroyed the altar or left or something. Hearing smashes on the large wooden door. Kotayuki walks to resolve the conflict, and well, both versions of Hinako, even after she destroyed the altar, think on it. They say that they will speak to each other, and if the love that he had for her is true, then she will consider. The three hug when the monster breaks in, and it fades to white. Hinako was back in the village, at the top of a hill, with a note left by Kotayuki. The days have grown warmer where I am. What is it like in Ebisugaoka? I can still recall the startling beauty of dandelions peeking out through the cracks in the stone walls. I would like to express my appreciation for the letter you sent me. It was quite enlightening. I will follow your footsteps and start by simply trying to enjoy life. As per your recommendations, I purchased sauce-flavoured senbi for the first time just the other day. I must have been quite a sight to see. A man dressed in a suit buying cheap rice crackers and eating them with children outside the candy store. The children laughed when they saw me, saying that real grown-ups don't buy such cheap snacks. They began swarming around me, telling me all the different delicious ways you can eat sauce-flavoured senbi. Though I must say I was taken back when a child suggested I try putting strawberry jam on it. Imagine such a scene, a fully grown man eating snacks with children. While I was rather embarrassed, I felt like I had regained part of my lost childhood. I intend to become reacquainted with my inner child, discover my own dreams, and live life to the fullest. And once I've done so, I hope to really evaluate my feelings for you. Hinako reads this note and is now starting to become accustomed with her feelings, her future. She can now reasonably speak to herself. She says Kotayuki taught her something. You can grow to love someone deeply, and she wants to live a life so full of passion and purpose just like that. That passion might one day allow her to propose to Kotayuki herself one day and carry on where they left off. And the other version of Hinako, the version that struggled so much, well, she wants to pour her heart into something too. But right now she's unsure on what that is. They both explore the town. It's quiet. There's nobody there. No one to tell them what to do, to bother them. It's nice. They can do whatever they want, decide where they want to go. Hinako is now in a world of peace, a world where she can rest. Whatever this metaphorically means, however, judging off of the ending, this isn't the reality, and Hinako did in fact die, and potentially this is her in the afterlife, becoming accustomed with herself. At the end, they report 2 male victims dead. One maybe Shu, the other Kotayuki. I'm not quite sure, we don't really get confirmation. But I'm guessing that Shu was killed while she was making her way back home, and obviously Kotayuki at the wedding, although they don't show that, but let me know your theories down below. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's look into that fun ending. I don't really think I need to explain this one.
Why isn't there anyone in town?
Because of them. There's no doubt about it.
Them?
Yeah, the aliens. They've been eyeing Earth for a long time, waiting for the chance to snatch up humans and replace them with aliens. Rinko, Hinako, me, any one of us could be an alien merely pretending to be the real person.
I'm not an alien! Is there any way to prove our identities? There is. What? Didn't you die? That thing killed you! This is Roboco, an anti-extraterrestrial search and destroy robot I designed and built. This robot can detect aliens masquerading as humans and automatically eliminate them. The battery's dead.
Wait, so the Sakuko that thing killed was actually an alien?
That thing was chasing me all over the place.
I guess you had a hint of alien on you, Hinako. You might be an alien, or maybe someone close to you is an alien. These things copy everything down to your memories, but they're not perfect. Hinako, try saying something only the real you would know.
Oh! Rinko once took some of Shu's hair and hid it inside her pillow! Ah! Let a girl try out a love spell and dream!
Your turn, Rinko.
One time, Hinako forgot her underwear in the locker room at camp and didn't claim it! Rinko! You're gonna burn in hell for that!
Can't blame you for not claiming it. Gotta be embarrassing saying it's yours when the teacher asks whose it is.
Privacy wasn't really a thing back in the day.
Well, one time, Rinko skipped gym class and took Shu's clothes and... Well, the day after she fought with Shu, Hinako took his recorder and...
I think I'm more scared of girls than aliens at this point.
Okay, you're good. You guys passed the test. Next up, it's us, I guess. So one time, Shu ripped a page out of an adult magazine and hid it behind his bookshelf. And he also cut out a photo of a classmate's head and taped it to a swimsuit model poster.
Okay. We got it. Now it's my turn. Oh! Sakuko first started wearing a bra in the 6th grade, while Hinako and Rinko started after summer break in 5th grade. How's that?
Well, we didn't find an alien.
But we did find an enemy to all women.
Hinako, we're heading home. What about the aliens? Everything all right?
The neighborhood watch got together and took care of them.
Bye-bye! See you tomorrow!
For dinner tonight, I'll make your favorite Hamburg steak.
Mother, I told you that's Junko's favorite.
After what has felt like a lot of information, a lot of explaining, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. All of the endings explained and gone through, information leading up to them also explained, and the game itself all makes a bit more sense now to me, and I hope it does to you guys too. Please leave your comments down below with your thoughts if anything was missed, stuff to add, or your views entirely if they're different. Don't forget to leave a like on today's video. Let's strive for 500 likes to celebrate this video. Comment "Shoo" down below. It helps let me know that you made it this far into the video, and you'll be entered into a giveaway to win a couple of copies of this game on any platform of your choosing. Also guys, before you leave, don't forget to hype this video. It helps so much and I really appreciate it. Help me get this channel out there a bit more. And of course, why not hit that subscribe button? We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers and we're getting there quite nicely. So without further ado everyone, we'll see you all in the next video.